I was just thinking right now about a soundboard and how, if you picture a soundboard, how it has the different dials that you can put one up, treble, surround. They have all these different types of to get the perfect sound, right? And I was using that as an analogy because I was thinking about how the homeless people, the people that may not have a lot of material stuff, such as a house or air conditioning or even money, right? That dial is all the way down. But God is near them. The Bible says that God takes care of them. So their joy or say their peace is all the way up. God takes care of them. And so God is close to the brokenhearted. He's close to the people that need the help, the handicapped. He's close to the orphans and the widows, right? That's what God says is perfect religion. Perfect religion is to take care of the orphans and the widows. We need to get into God's mind and see what perfect is, and not define it for ourselves. And so we need to understand what God values and what He esteems. So I was just thinking about the sound board and how a lot of people are chasing, the wrong things in this world, the things that the eyes can see, right? And they want to grab onto it, right? And so maybe they get it, right? And that dials all the way up, but on the inside, morality goes all the way down. Maybe they don't take care of their neighbor. Maybe they've adopted the type of mindset of a dog eat dog world kind of thing, survival of the fittest, like, so ego is all the way up, pride is all the way up, I'm first is all the way up, right? And so with that comes other dials that are all the way down, like fulfillment, satisfaction, peace, joy, tranquility, for true lasting relationships, etc. And so those dials are all the way down. And so what we got to do in this life is we got to find the dials that matter the most, the eternal value system of God, and sure, like relationship with God. We want that dial all the way up. We want to esteem the things that God esteems, so that God in turn can value our life and build us up better. In other words, God gives seed to the sower. God blesses the person that's doing the blessing. He gives them all the more to do more of it. And so anybody that's doing the will of God, God provides to them more to do more territory. Maybe it's more finances. Maybe it's more definition in their character. We understand this. Like Moses had a stuttering problem until God called him, and when God called him, he stepped out, and then God gave him the ability to be fluent. He led over 1 million people, Jews, out of Egypt, and he had to lead them with something that he was weak at. Right? He wasn't good at speaking. He had a problem stuttering. But because he stepped out, God met him in that area that he was weak in. God then redefined him. Right? We know this with Jacob. Jacob, he was a liar, and he was a manipulator and all this stuff, until God renamed him, gave him a new identity. He said, you're no longer going to be called Jacob, you're going to be called Israel. So God takes the things that we suck at in this life, the things that define us. I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, but when we put it in God's aisle of things, when we follow God and we step out in faith, God will then show himself strong where we are weak. So it's something to think about, something to take notes on there. Wherever you're weak, God is strong. And so as long as you're in the will of God, walking in the light with God, wherever you are weak, he's going to be able to make you strong in that area. That might be very well be what the world defines you as your best at. And you would say, man, if you had any idea, you would say the opposite, because I remember a time where I couldn't even stand in front of people because I was an introvert, and now I'm standing before millions of people, and people say that you're a natural up there. I say, well, if you have any idea, behind closed doors, what I used to struggle with. But there goes the saying, but God. You know, when God steps in the picture, he changes things, revolutionizes and redefines. And so back to the soundboard, and we'll end the video. The soundboard is something to me that I'm trying to figure out the perfect balance to everything, to have the perfect symphony for life, so that so that life is defined perfectly for me. So in other words, family man, I want that dial all the way up. Being a good father, good husband, all the way up, right? Being you know, somebody that is responsible, you know. And so this, when you do that, you're, you know, not only are you leading your family to do it as well, because your children are looking up to you, etc. You're leading this life, but you know, peace is attached to that, because then you don't have to worry about not paying your bills. You don't have to worry about this, that, and the other. You get me? Like, when you're on top of your stuff, then you don't have to worry about the repercussions and the consequences. And so as an attachment, just doing life accordingly or accurately, you know, peace is already attached to that. But what snatches peace is when you do life on the other side of what God deems it to be right. So when we're living on the wrong lane, how can you have peace? You're always going, because you know that you're dodging people, places, and things. You're walking in through the back door instead of the front door. You're snatching stuff that doesn't belong to you. You know, and as a result, what goes around comes around like a boomerang. You're gonna reap what you sow. It's just a matter of time until you're either caught or it comes back at you. But the peace doesn't stay with you, and you know, your conscience lets you know you're in the wrong. And then also, you can't win any favor with God that way. Favor with God is one doing life the right way, not the wrong way. So you want favor with God, you know, you're gonna want to put that soundboard click all the way up, right? And these are the things that we get better at, because maybe you're moving it up notch by notch and you're just getting better and better, right? And if it gets taken down a notch because you had a bad day, we understand that life just flows better. Like a river is stopped by big old rocks, boulders and rocks and stuff like that. You can stop a river's flow. Well, look at those rocks and those boulders as if as the things in this life that don't belong, that are in our life. The things that don't belong stop the flow of good things happening. The springs of water running through your life, the flow of everything going in the right direction is stopped. It's hampered by the things that shouldn't be there in the first place, but they came into our life and we didn't take it out. Certain things happen. Storms happen. What happens after a storm? Trees, you see trees the next day on the floor, you see debris all over the place, but then you clean up and then you have everything in order all over again, right? Where you can drive through the streets, etc. Well, sometimes there's disruptions in our life. Sometimes there's relationships that go sour, but we don't leave those things like in the way of our just flow, in the way that we function, in the way that we take care of it. God says to forgive. God says take care of those things, right? Because when you take care of it, basically you're making a way to travel again, right? You don't have to allow people to do the same thing over and over again to you. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is not, I'm going to forgive you so that you could continue to abuse me or whatever. Forgiveness is, I'm not going to allow what you did to me to get the better of me, my heart right now. You know, you hurt me, it's like whatever type of way, right? But because I want to let go of the hurt, I'm going to forgive the offense. I'm going to let go of it. You got wisdom from it. You're wiser now as a result. So now you move with caution. The Bible says, be wise as a serpent, but innocent as a dove. So you forgive, but as the saying goes, you don't forget. And then you move forward, not allowing that to happen again and again, but you don't hold a grudge and resentment and try to get back at them. So that's the difference. You turn the other cheek. You say, you know, I could get retaliation on you. I could get revenge. I'm going to forgive this debt of yours. You don't owe me nothing. I don't owe you nothing. And at the same time, you don't have to be friends either. You don't have to like have them over for supper, etc. It's one of those things that you have to be wise as a serpent, as the Bible says. And what that means is that if you know somebody's a manipulator, a liar, a cheater, or a thief, you know, then it's one of those things that you could either be got by them or just keep them at a distance and understand who's who and what's what, but not hold any kind of anything against them at the same time. You get me? Like, you could pray for your enemies. You can pray for them to get a better life. You can pray for them to have eyes to see and ears to hear. You can pray for them to get out of that life, but you don't have to bring them in and have them super close to you so they could stab you over and over again. That makes sense? So then that's forgiveness. Forgiveness is like, I don't want no ties to this bitterness that you did to me. I don't want no ties to that. Like, that's poison. I don't want that in my life. Getting rid of that. I forgive you. You know, I wish you the best. I wish you the very, very best. And I'm gonna go this way. That's it. And you move on with your life, and you're wiser as a result. The opposite of when you hold all that bitterness and all that to you, you know, a lot of people get arthritis, a lot of people get sick, a lot of people get, because it does affect you. After a while, you see the symptoms manifest and you feeling sick and diseased and this and that. But when people forgive and they let go of that load off their shoulders, you've heard of the saying, stress kills. Yeah. Well, all that is stressful to keep all that stuff, you know. You don't want to be in a prison cell regurgitating memories over and over again. You want to get rid of all that, you know. You want to move on with your life. So God bless you. I hope this video helps you.